So
last word, right?
Should we do like a raise of hands? Who got the last word this week?
I have 2.
I got 1.
You got 2?
Yeah, I did it on PS4 and PC.
What'd you guys think of the quest for the last word?
Well, no spoilers, okay?
Yeah, no spoilers.
No spoilers?
No,
you get the last word.
Spoiler. You get the last word.
So the quest has multiple components to it, and I'm not going to spoil what they are, but like the first one's pretty simple. Like they're all pretty simple. There's a couple of PvP elements where you have to actually like maintain a positive KD for a few games.
Actually, no, you don't have to maintain positive though.
Sorry, like 0.5 KD, right?
It's above 0.5.
Yeah.
If you're above 0.5, you move the needle forward.
0.51, and you will eventually get there.
Yeah.
Assist too, right?
Yeah, assist count.
Assist, so.
But before we go on any further, there was some controversy in the community. There's a lot of people talking about
this right now.
Quest.
Okay.
Are we going there now?
We doing this?
Yeah,
we're
doing it. We're actually doing it.
We're doing it.
I'm
But
really
people are going to get mad at me for my opinion.
Okay. I never actually saw anyone complaining. I saw people complaining about
the complaining.
But I never saw
I did too, actually. Now that you mention it.
Was Reddit complaining? Was the forums complaining?
I saw a lot of people
complaining about people complaining.
Reddit complaining?
But I just never
were the
actually
forums
saw
complaining?
I don't.
Maybe that's where it was.
Nobody goes to the forums.
Well, that's why we don't see it.
There's people
We
saying,
protect ourselves
It's
from
the murky
worst of
backwaters that
humanity.
nobody touches except for a few.
Yeah, I saw a lot of what I'll
Grateful.
call constructive feedback for it. So
About the PvP. So let me just get through the quest. I'm not going to spoil the quest, but the quest has multiple components. There's some grindy bits like getting 75 headshots on certain enemies. There's you got to kill like 15 of like another certain type of enemy, and there's some PvP bits where you gotta perform somewhat decently in the Crucible, and then there's another bit in the Crucible where you actually have to earn certain types of medals, like 25 of
blood for blood. You have to
Blood
kill
for blood
someone
and
that
best served cold.
just killed a teammate.
Yeah, or get revenge on the person who killed you. Get 25 of those medals.
Right. So I was trying to be non-specific about it, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Nobody's going to consider that.
Just don't. Okay, the last part of the quest is really cool. We're not going to say what it is.
Okay.
You should enjoy it.
awesome.
and I haven't done that part yet. So
There was some pushback about having a weapon that required players to play PvP. Not all players who play Destiny play PvP. In fact, it seems like the majority don't actually. Like when we hear numbers about it, like the majority of players are like PvE players.
Mhm.
And then there's some pushback on the pushback where there's a lot of people out there
Double
saying
pushback.
it was double. It was double
That's
trouble.
called a slapback.
That's called a slapback. It is.
That's not what I heard.
Can you fill us in on the slapback?
in this part of the conversation.
Can we get a judgment on that slapback usage?
Yeah. How many last words out of 5?
You know, I'm going to say I think people got really angry at the people that weren't happy with the quest, and like I can understand why people are frustrated at doing it. If you don't PvP and you see your progress go down, like every time you
It's
die,
demoralizing.
it is very demoralizing.
Yeah.
At the same time, like if you are so focused on just completing the quest, yeah, you're probably going to get really frustrated every time that you die. The player in me says just
Get good.
just
I'm
gonna take the diplomatic approach and say play passive, because then you don't die and you don't
so-
have
You know,
to get
scout
rid-
rifles got buffed.
Yeah,
There's a bigger-
apparently.
Fire, we're
a-
going to talk about
We're
that
gonna talk
later.
about
But there's a
He's
bigger thing
implying,
in here. There's a bigger thing in here that this quest takes a player like me that's arguably mostly PvE and challenges me to do something different, challenges me to go out and play the game different. I respect a game that's asking me to do that, that is asking me to do a quest that's slightly outside of my comfort zone. I feel like everything that they were asking was within reason.
It's totally
It was
within
not
reason.
extreme. It was not. It was all possible.
Uh-huh.
And there are areas that maybe because you're not a great at PvP that you're going to have to struggle. But that through that struggling, there's some lessons, some core lessons to Crucible or PvP that are important to learn. And that's, you know, recognizing your radar, putting yourself in advantageous positions, sticking around your teammates. These are all important core elements to PvP that if you are not familiar with, this quest will ask you to do that, right? This quest will ask you to be closer to your teammates, pick your engagements and things like that. And it's not impossible, but it does challenge those people that are not good at PvP.
Well, but even then, I mean, how often do people go in and get less than a 0.5?
Man,
Pretty often.
Pretty often? Really?
And it's not really about, for me, like I was saying earlier about the KD, like I've seen people that are exceptionally bad and they still have like a 0.8 at the end.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just the fact that every time you die, it goes back down. So you're gaining like these small percents over the course of a game. But I think it's more the fact
double back.
Then the issue is that people are expecting not to die. And if you're not great at PvP, you can't just go in there and assume you're going to go flawless every game and get 100% progress towards the match. Like that's just, you're setting yourself up to be disappointed then. Like as long as you're getting above a 0.5, you're making progress on the quest. And I think that's okay.
Unfortunately, I think people would be mad if the quest said, go into a PvP game. Because anytime in Destiny that a quest has ever required any amount of PvP, people get very, very, very upset. And, the last word has always been a PvP weapon. It's fun to mess around with in PvE. But, if you want to get 1,000 voices, you have to go raid because it's a raid gun. If you want to go and get Blast Furnace, maybe you want to use it in PvP because it's really good in PvP. You got to go do the forge. Not only that, you have to unlock the forges. And those are way, way, way longer and more grindy than, you can just casually play and do the last word quest. You don't have to put this pressure on yourself of, I have to get it right now.
Exactly.
If you just casually play the Crucible, you will eventually get it as long as you're keeping in mind to play passive and just work on getting assists and you'll get there eventually. I just, a lot of PvP players have played a lot of PvE to get guns that they want. And any time that a quest requires any tiny amount of PvP, no matter how tiny, people get really upset.
Well, I also believe it's something more fundamental than that, Watts. It's not, that's something about this particular quest that it's an example of it. But I feel like sometimes when there is loot involved, when there is something we want from the task that we're being asked to do, the frustration acts, to not get that, we lash out, right? And
especially if you're making negative progress.
Right. And so my mindset is to ask those people to because I feel like, I'm not a PvP player and I felt like it was a reasonable ask, is to take the approach like this. Video games have always been about a challenge. The challenge is the fun part of it. Getting through a level, making it, scoring a high score, getting all the hearts, getting all the coins. It's always a challenge to do it. And if you go about these quests with the mindset of just, I want the loot, give me the loot, you're going to have a horrible time and you're going to play poorly and you're going to be frustrated. If you think about it from the mindset of, hey, this is a challenge where I'm going to have to learn maybe some new things and apply myself in a different way, you'll have fun and go about it in that way. I think it's a mindset thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they need to do? They need to come up with songs like me and Patrick did. We came up with a song called Shotgun Man.
Shotgun Man.
So every time we got ran at with a shotgun, we'd go, Shotgun Man. He's coming straight out of the trash. Yeah, we just made songs.
And it made the experience so much better.
It did.
Because then it taught you to recognize that there's Shotgun Man.
Shotgun Man.
And
there's Shotgun Man. Avoid him.
The reaction I heard from the community was the negative progress thing. Whereas, like, I don't play any PvP, so like for me to get into PvP is really hard, and it's demoralizing that if I have one game and then have a bad game after that, I go back to zero.
Mm-hmm.
And I could definitely understand that that could be really frustrating.
Yeah,
like in most any other quest in Destiny, you're constantly building up. Like you very rarely lose progress in Destiny, but for some reason it was the same thing with Thorn in year 1, right? Is where you made negative progress.
500 void kills in the Crucible, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, early Hunter didn't have a void subclass
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
That's true.
Yes.
I had to use a green void
Yeah.
shotgun to get
Yeah.
that done.
77 wizard.
Yep.
That's what I use.
Yep.
Nice.
I was
So
lucky I
that's
had
right.
a void primary from the raid.
I had that, but I
Atheon's
didn't use
epilogue?
it because it was so bad at that time.
Oh, it was fine. It was good.
Oh no.
Like,
Yeah, I feel
Auto
like
rifles
the
were good
quest
back
is-
then, man.
Not
I feel like we need to really like honor the fact that Bungie is putting together these types, because where we were in D1 and now where we are now post Forsaken, these quests are a lot better.
they really
And
are.
I like that. I feel like we're in a different place. There is tons of stuff to do on PvE and PvP, and there's guns in PvP.
It's
I
not
think
asking
there's so
you.
much stuff now
It's not asking
it's
you to
just
run
okay.
out of medals or to get a run out of medals
Right.
in a PvP match. Like
Yeah.
it's not like that type of level. You know, it's not asking you
No.
to hit 5,500.
But depending on your skill level, the challenge is still there, and it still may be just as
Absolutely.
unobtainable as a run or we ran out
So,
of medals. Like
I
if you
thought
don't
was
never
re-
play PvP, then maintaining that positive KD for multiple games in a row can be that difficult.
I'll be honest. I think if people think that they can't maintain a 0.5, I think it's because they just don't believe that they can like go into the Crucible.
Yeah.
It's
Honest,
not even a 0.5; it's a 0.2.
It's the power of positive thought.
no,
If we
no
think
joke.
about
Because like,
if we think about the world getting cooler, it will.
no, I mean like some people they don't realize that like if they just shoot one bullet into a foot and then their teammate gets that kill, that actually counts towards the progress.
Get an auto rifle and spray everything.
Yeah.
It's an
If
assist.
Just spin around in a circle.
sweet business.
So
Sweet
I
business.
don't recommend being a shotgun rusher, but even if you are a shotgun rusher and you're constantly trading, you're actually going up because trades equal a 1% up value on that. So
I was actually serious about a scout rifle too. Like, get a scout rifle because they're really good now, and you're much safer in the back of the map
Is
with a
that
scout
the
rifle.
coward's weapon, Brian?
I believe that is very derogatory. I
Lots
can't
of
believe you
people
would say
from
that in
your
public.
stream came into my stream and told me what you do.
Look,
It's,
Watson, it's been a while since I played any PvP. I need a little.
I want you guys to know that the what this has done to me in the Crucible, and it's funny. While I was waiting to get those avenge your teammate that just dies, so instead of team shooting, I'm hiding around a corner waiting for him to die and then popping out and trying to finish off the kill. It was really sad. I felt like I was leaving my leaving my teammate out to we're running down a hallway together. He's like, "Oh, it's 2-on-1." And then he steps out and engages the enemy, and I'm like, meh.
Yeah,
So
I just
that-
went into mayhem.
went
Everyone's
into
dying
mayhem.
all
Mayhem.
the time.
You can just wait for your super and just pop it when you have your golden gun and kind of.
I'm like, oh look, everyone died to a blade barrage. Oh, thanks, guys.
So I actually had a problem with a different part of this quest. The part of the
What's that?
quest where you had to go into 15 lost sectors and kill the wanted bounties, I found to be
That was
extraordinarily
monotonous.
boring.
That was rough.
Like,
Yeah.
I just got
That
to
was
run
the rough
in and
part.
out of this lost sector and just kill this one dude 15 times. Like,
Yes.
while you wait for public
right.
events, doesn't this ring a bell? Something that you did in the past already? Something that was shelved. Yeah, that was pretty boring.
but I will say, without spoiling anything, I got to say that there's kind of like a mission at the very end. It was really cool.
It was cool.
And there's like a new mechanic to it that there's actually two new mechanics that I thought was pretty awesome and really kind of fits with the theme of the whole
yeah,
the objective.
yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Really
I
cool.
thoroughly enjoyed it. It was really good.
Yeah, same.
And then you actually get the weapon, and
Yeah.
we want to talk about that when you actually get last word and
Yeah.
use it.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it turns out if you were mainly a PvE player, you're probably not going to use this.
Ever
False.
again.
I used it a ton in PvE and I loved it.
I'm
Teft
pretty
is
sure there's a
wrong.
video right
No.
now of them taking down
I am
the
absolutely
last.
correct. It was fun.
When you need to forge your kindled orchid, you can use the last word.
I actually did do that too.
If you just
I did too.
want to have fun with the pew pews, the last word is great. And throwing Lunafactions on, it's not like the most effective way to melt a boss, but it's really
No,
fun.
You're absolutely correct about that.
It's really fun to be a last word turret sitting in a puddle of warlock piss.
Oh, so were you on a warlock, Tefty?
Maybe we'll see. Yeah. Okay. I was for a moment there.
Just every stream.
I
guys,
used
just
last
every
word in PvP and in PvE, both in D1 and also yesterday. And it's a fun weapon. I mean, you feel like a space cowboy using it. I like it a lot. It's got, it's obviously got some weaknesses to it, and that's A-OK. Hip firing on mouse and keyboard feels incredible, and I'm very happy that the gun is back.
What's the chest piece that the Warlock has that causes
It's chromatic fire. It's awesome.
That could be good with the
I
last
know, I
word,
don't
right?
have
It's fun. I mean, Firefly, last word. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm into that.
That's what I do when I go for my kill orchid.
The gun is pretty fun. I mean, it feels like the last word from Destiny 1, right? It kind of feels like the Gear 1 version of the gun because the gun's got crazy range in the Crucible.
It feels like the aggressive ballistics version of the last word in Destiny 1. It's got a lot of recoil.
Yeah, that's too bad. That's got a lot of recoil. I hear console is pretty rough.
Yeah, so
Controlling.
I play on PC, and the thing is very controllable with a mouse and keyboard. But apparently, with a controller, it's pretty rough.
ADSing, definitely a lot of recoil. You can get used to it. You can get used to controlling it. There's a lot of people who now are saying it's actually not that bad. I learned that I have to pull it this way to have it be controllable. But hip fire is still freaking amazing. Like the range on hip fire, the accuracy is just so good.
And it's got like nearly perfect in air accuracy.
In
it's
air.
amazing. You don't really even need to ADS with it, honestly.
Yeah.
It's not necessary.
Yeah, it's such a cool weapon, and you can use it both ways. ADS, you can hip fire, you can tap the trigger, you can hold the trigger. There's no wrong way. They have the same end result. But I mean, in this version, perks change a little bit. We kind of missed out on our precision damage. I mean, would you guys have liked that instead of what we have now?
I feel.
I don't want.
Is there room in
It's too
Destiny 2
strong,
PvP
honestly.
for that?
I don't want it to be broken, and then it becomes the
kills
gun that
so
everybody has
fast.
to use.
Yeah, I mean,
It already
absurd,
kills so fast.
absurd body TTK. It's
Yeah.
the same as the Thunderlord. Like, absurd.
I'd much rather it be a consistent weapon that you always know what to expect than just like sometimes you just randomly die to like the 2 shots.
just delete it. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's really
I
fun.
think they did a great job. Yeah,
I love
yeah,
it.
I like the.
I use it on PC, use it on console, use it with controller, try it out with keyboard and mouse, and all the ways it's my favorite gun in Destiny. It actually makes me like Crucible now, which is
How was?
yeah, but we were talking about that. I mean, I'm an Xbox guy, and once you get that weapon in your hands, the Crucible just felt different, right? The very first match you stepped in, you're like, all right, and a little bit more aggressive. The gunfights are very quick, just kind of like early Destiny 1. I mean, and the elephant in the room that they talk about Thorn is Hawkmoon after that, right? Maybe we can talk about that a little bit. I like to talk about that, but it's
You're
good.
an Xbox player. Do you even know what Hawkmoon is?
We don't know what Hawkmoon is.
Have
right?
you actually
The
used
version that I
the
got
Year One
was
Hawkman?
in comparison.
You know the neutered version of Hawkman.
Yeah.
You know the clipped version. The one that
That
came
was
with
the
that.
You know about the
Insult
half
to
moon.
Xbox users ever. It was
Our
awful.
Participation Hawkmoon is what we got.
It's the pigeon moon now.
Contractual
instead of the Hawkmoon.
obligation, Hawkmoon.
I got the Hawkmoon that was now like broken down and living in a zoo, and people are just walking by like
clipped
throwing
wings
things at
moon.
it. Yeah,
That's rough.
it's too bad.
Jesus.
It was still
we
a
did
good
get a
gun, though.
teaser
I'm
that
just giving you a hard time.
the Thorn is coming back with the Season of the Drifter, right?
Yeah, we did.
I wonder
Looks
if
like
it's going to have the same properties as it used to. Right? Will it be because that gun caused problems in the Crucible?
So
in
Final
a different sandbox, it caused problems.
Right.
So one thing I've noticed with all the weapons that they're bringing back, they very much keep like the iconic thing about that item from its former glory days. So like last word, full auto hand cannon.
Yeah. What's iconic about Thorn? The fact that it maps
Poison.
you, or the fact that it gives
Poison.
you damage over
Damage
time?
over time.
Or is it the fact that it does both?
Both.
Yep.
I believe that they're going to bring back Thorn as close to the original as possible, but the tick damage is going to be slightly represented differently, similar to what we see tick damage done with the guns that we have now. So I don't think that there's a problem with there's several abilities that our Guardians have and other that have damage over time, and I think it's going to be represented similar to that.
Okay, what if?
Yeah, like what if
There's
the
no way
damage
that-
over time, like with One-Eyed Mask, you know, how he gets the overshield, what if that just instantly stops that? You know, I think it'd be interesting in direct counters. Depends on how they do it.
What if Thorn just gives you the ability to have One-Eye Mask in a hand cannon?
Ooh.
What if it just causes that person to have their one-eyed mask deleted?
Oh,
Over 9,000, yeah.
Oh, you shot somebody with it, and they just deletes from their inventory.
Yeah,
Hmm.
they don't even
Yeah,
get
that sounds
the
reasonable.
legendary
Interesting.
shards.
Interesting thought process.
What if
here,
it
guys.
turns him into a warlock?
Whoa, God.
Oh, man.
I'm
Too
out.
far.
No, this conversation's crazy.
But
Hit him in the
isn't the
middle,
guy
they jump
isn't
and
the
they just
guy
start
who created Thorn, wasn't he a hunter though?
Believe
yeah.
so.
Titan. No, the
Oh,
person
was
it?
who created.
No,
Thorn,
I
Titan.
think Thorn was Warlock. No,
I haven't watched Fife's newest feature
Fife,
film
where-
yet,
Yeah, I
where
so
are
haven't
I'm not
watched the
sure.
video yet. I haven't seen it's like an hour and a half. I haven't watched
think-
it yet.
I thought we were
Last
lore
Word is
masters here,
Hunter,
guys.
right?
What's going on?
He was a
I'm
Titan.
15 minutes
apparently.
in.
Oh,
He was a
Pope.
Titan.
He was a Titan Pope.
Jesus.
He was a Titan that became
Oh
a hunter.
my God.
He probably made the one
Oh,
I
that's
asked
right.
too.
It's a shame.
No, but when he
Titan
was
of yourself,
good,
a
when he was a
Titan.
good guardian, he was a Titan. When he was a bad guardian, he became a hunter.
No,
Good.
it
Sounds about
still
right.
Was a Titan.
wanna be
It
a
still
bad
was
guy.
a Titan. The one of the sets, Titan sets, is him, or is his armor basically.
Ah,
Mm.
interesting. Yes.
I watched a video about this, and I'm pretty sure he was a hunter. But anyway,
We thought he was a hunter until we knew he was a Titan.
Until Bife told us otherwise.
I really hope with that when they bring Thorn, like they do bring in like Dredgen, Yor, and all that, and maybe we get a little bit more on that story in game.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys.
That'd be amazing.
that'd be cool.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, well,
Their
with
story
Last
was
Word, we
incredible.
got a lot of stuff from.
Yeah.
Like as you complete the quest, you get a bunch of the lore pages filled out, so that was really cool.
The Shady Drifter.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like that the
Mhm.
Drifter was kind of like you'd go back to the Drifter and you actually have something to say, and what he said was actually somewhat interesting. It wasn't like cutscenes or anything, but you got a little bit of a story along with that
Mhm.
quest, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I was very interested in getting Last Word, so I didn't listen to him. So I'm going to do the quest again, just so I can listen to all the audio.
the audio is cool.
Yeah,
It's really neat.
it's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, I'm on the last step of it, and it's I'm really excited about the next mission. So there's some
You're gonna love
things
it.
I want to know about it.
Coming back to the Last Word though, and how it feels. One thing that I wasn't sure about, did we talk about, is how it felt from D1 to D2 in terms of the recoil on console? Like, is it actually amplified recoil?
Way more.
Oh, really? Way more.
It is.
Yeah.
More, yeah.
Yeah, so like I mean, on console, if you don't do anything, it's like I said, it's worse than aggressive ballistics D1. But like when you shoot it, I'm talking, you will point straight to the sky after you're done with the 8 shots. Like it's bad. Whereas
Whoa.
on PC, it's like half of that just out of base. So it's got a lot.
Do you think that's a
lot.
bug?
It's a lot.
Do you think maybe?
I just think it's how. I mean, I obviously don't know, the inner workings, but it's got to be a code type deal because we all know that there is those differences between console and PC. I mean, same thing with recoil, same thing with hand cannons. And if you were to take like a max stability hand cannon in Destiny 2 and look at a rifled barrel like less stability hand cannon in Destiny 1, the
Mhm.
Destiny 1 hand cannon still has less recoil. Like,
Interesting.
So there's
Yeah,
just more recoil in Destiny 2.
Right. Yeah, that's one of their bouncing
I
moves.
think I don't know if it was Cosmo or if it's just Bungie, but they tweeted out that they're going to be looking at that because they've heard a lot of people saying that the recoil on console is a little crazy. So they are going to look into that
Well,
because
So,
it
yeah.
is incredibly difficult to ADS that actually hit stuff.
interesting. I mean, that it seems like that would actually be a bug because on PC, like I have no issue with ADSing and hitting something
What's
with a mouse.
wrong with the gun having crazy,
I-
recoil?
I don't
It's
think that there is
almost-
anything wrong with it, Pope.
Almost unusable.
I think that, it's a hard thing to do, and if you can do well with it, you're going to do well with it, if that makes sense.
So in my mind, the gun is a hip fire gun.
Yes.
And it has perks specifically designed to improve your accuracy and lethality when you are hip firing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see anything wrong with there being some downsides to ADSing. There's other guns for that. Otherwise, it's just going to be another Not Forgotten or Luna's Howl where they just throw everything into a gun and say, okay, what else are people going to be using? Nothing. I mean, that's the conversation right now. And I want to bring it up because I think everybody's comparing a exotic to a legendary, not forgotten, or Luna's Howl. There's something, kind of wrong with that, I believe. I think that when they created those two hand cannons, they broke anything that they could have done with the creativeness of guns, or at least hand cannons in Crucible, because they're the top of the mountain. I mean, it's kind of like what they didn't learn the problem that they had with Vaulted Glass and making all the guns right out of there be the best ones. So what are they going to do? I mean, is anybody else using anything other than those two guns?
Yeah, like on console, there's a reason why you see, and if you look at the reports, I mean, it's trust, it's the 180s, because they have that vertical recoil and you can see it a little bit better. And if you look at PC, like even I don't know, 6 months ago, like when 10 paces and all that came out, nobody was using 10 paces on console because it's almost impossible. Especially with bygones. I mean, that 0.93 second bygones got a lot of ease of use, good range, whereas those hand cannons, you got aim assist, but you have bloom with a hand cannon. So if you don't have good range, it's not going to connect.